Uh, a very, very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Lead Group. My name is Garima. I am the content marketing specialist at Lead. We have with us Shalini Bhattacharya, who is the Assistant Vice President, Brands and Communications. We also have a speaker today with us. Hello, Komal. I hope we are all audible. Me
Hello,
and Shalini.
everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible. I will just take a few minutes to introduce our speaker to all of you. Today, we are joined by Komal Kothari Ramchandani, an educator, curriculum designer, and learning strategist with over a decade of experience working across the K-12 ecosystem. Komal has partnered closely with schools and teachers to design and implement English language programs that actually translate into classroom impact. With a master's degree in elementary education, her work is grounded in research backed pedagogy and shaped by real classroom realities. She specializes in strengthening students' foundational and functional English skills across listening, speaking, reading, and writing, while also building confidence, comprehension, and real world communication. From curriculum design to teacher capacity building, Komal is known for helping schools move beyond rote learning towards meaningful language development that supports both academic outcomes and lifelong learning. In today's session, she'll share practical classroom strategies that school leaders can enable and scale to measurably improve students' English skills. Join me in welcoming Komal to the webinar. Thank you so much, Komal, for doing this for us. We are eager to learn from you,
Thank
and
you
the
so
stage is
much.
all yours. Thank you.
Thank, thank you so much, Garima, Shalini, and everybody at Lead for having me here. Welcome, everyone. A warm welcome to all the participants who have joined.
I am just sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, why English outcomes still struggle despite years of instruction. So let's start with this. This is reality for many of our students, and many of us as educators recognize this, that our students study for 8 to 10 years, and yet many hesitate to speak, explain ideas, or think in English. So this is not a student problem, and it's also not a teacher effort problem either. It is largely a system design problem. So, in most schools, English is treated as a subject to be completed, chapters, grammar rules, written answers, but language is meant to be used. So, when we prioritize syllabus coverage over expression, correctness over confidence, students learn to stay quiet rather than take risks. So, let's quickly look at where the bottleneck lies across our schools. We'll also first take a poll response from all of you. Garima, if you can just share the first poll.
Yeah, just give me a moment. Um, Okay, I have launched the poll. I hope you can see that, Komal.
Yes.
Is it
Yeah,
that visible?
yeah.
Okay.
I request everybody to respond to the poll that you can see on your screen. What is the biggest English related challenge in your school today? So think of your school, the students, and choose the option that most represents the problem that you are facing. Students hesitate to speak English, weak reading comprehension, poor writing structure, teachers lack confidence in teaching English, or mixed language levels in one classroom.
We just have 49% people who have participated. Let's make it 100%. We'll end the poll in around 10 seconds. Please participate, everyone. I'll just read the question once again. What is the biggest English related challenge in your school today? The first option says students hesitate to speak English. The second one says weak reading comprehension. Next one says poor writing structure. Next one is teachers lack confidence in teaching English. And the last one says mixed language levels in one classroom. We have 62% participation. I think I should end the poll. I'll share the results. Yep. So 52% of people say it's students hesitate to speak English.
So what we
I,
see here is very common hesitation to speak. I also say some responses where they were related to comprehension, teacher confidence gaps. The good news is that these are all addressable at a leadership level. So today's focus is not on classroom strategies or tips. It's what actually moves the needle at a school level. So we'll look at strategies which actually work at the school level. Garima, the first slide, please. So let's look at this. The first strategy is build English as a language of thinking, not just as a subject. So what do we mean by that? That first and foremost, the important shift that we need to do is that English must become a language of thinking and not just a subject on the timetable, because language develops in a very natural order. When we listen, then we speak, then we read, and then finally we write. So this order matters. That's how we all of us have also acquired our mother tongue. That because there was a lot of speaking happening around us when we were children, and we grasped all of it, and then we started speaking naturally. But in many classrooms, we reverse it. Students are asked to write before they are comfortable speaking and memorize grammar before they have ideas to express. So, when students can explain an idea orally, even in simple English, writing quality improves naturally. Grammar is important, but its role is to support meaning, not replace it. So, as school leaders, what we enable matters. Do we allow time for talk? Do we tolerate imperfect English? Do we clearly communicate that fluency matters more than accuracy? So, this is not about adding a new period, it is a mindset shift where we allow the space for children to just explore talking in English a lot more than we normally do. And it's okay to accept the mistakes that happen while they are attempting. So that's the first strategy, helping build English as a language of thinking and not just as a subject. Now let's look at strategy two. This talks about daily structured talk in classrooms. A common assumption is that students will speak English if they know it. That doesn't, this assumption doesn't hold true in real classrooms because speaking does not happen automatically. It must be designed. Without structure, only confident students speak. The rest remains silent, sometimes for years. So, structured talk needs to be introduced, wherein there are simple, predictable routines, sentence starters, think, pair, share, short explanations, role based talk. This will give an opportunity for all students to participate and talk, and not just those who are confident. So, just 5 to 10 minutes of planned talk in every English lesson creates visible confidence gains. So, the key point over here is that talk should not depend on individual teachers, it should be a school wide expectation. In many schools, there are rules that English should be spoken outside the classroom, within the corridors, in the school premises. Also, having structured talk within the classroom for any subject would be really helpful. So the key point is that talk should not depend on individual teachers, but it should become like a school-wide expectation. Now let's see where most instructional time period actually goes. Garima, if you could launch poll two, please. So,
yes.
which area receives the maximum instructional time in English periods? So, if you look at the English class, where does most of the instructional time of the teacher goes? Is it grammar rules? Is it textbook reading, writing answers for exams, speaking and listening, or vocabulary building? I would request everybody to respond to the poll.
We have 50% participation already. I'll just repeat the question once more for the audience. Which area receives the maximum instructional time in English periods? Is it grammar rules? Is it textbook reading, writing answers for exams, or speaking and listening? The last option says vocabulary building. Please, let's make the session interactive, requesting all of you to please participate and respond to the poll. We'll end the poll in about 5 seconds. Okay, I'm sharing the results, Komal. So 34% people say it's grammar rules, 15% of people say it is textbook reading, 13% say it's writing answers for exams, then 25% people say it's speaking and listening, and 12% believe in vocabulary building. So we have a mix and match of answers.
Got it. So grammar rules still is the majority. So if time is heavily skewed towards grammar or textbook reading, fluency will remain limited. So no matter how strong the curriculum is. So ensuring that we get a lot of student voice, student talk time, that is really crucial. Let's look at the next strategy. So strong foundations, that is phonics and vocabulary in early years and primary. We all know that FLN is a strong focus of NEP 2020 as well as many it's a national priority. So this strategy is that foundational and it's often underestimated. So many fluency issues that we see in secondary school actually originate in grades 1 to 3. So reading aloud to children is valuable, but it is not enough. Children must also learn how to decode and read independently. So, phonics builds accuracy, vocabulary builds meaning. Both are essential to help students learn reading. Random word lists, rote spelling, and guessing from pictures do not build strong readers. Leadership decisions matter here. So, materials, daily time allocation, and teacher capability in early years would help build a strong foundation. And fixing foundations early is the highest return on investment decision a school can make. So, make FLN a priority and focus on phonics and vocabulary for early years and primary. The earlier the students are able to read, the lesser the issues they will carry forward in grades in further grades. Let's look at the next strategy. Teacher capability is greater than content coverage. A lot many times we focus on syllabus completion, but no English strategy works without confident teachers. Students mirror teacher comfort with language. If teachers fear making mistakes, students will too. So this is why one-off workshops rarely change classroom practice. What actually works is a combination of modeling, practice, and feedback. So teachers don't just need to know what to teach, they need support in how to run, talk, manage participation, and build confidence in students. So as leaders, we must protect time for observation, practice, and reflection, and not just syllabus completion. I would also want to hear from you guys. So we launch poll 3, which will give us a sense of where teacher confidence truly lies. Garima, will you launch poll 3? So how confident are your teachers in teaching spoken English? So based on if you are a teacher, think about yourself. And if you're a school leader, think about where majority of your teachers lie on the spectrum. Do they feel very confident, somewhat confident, not confident, or it depends on the teacher?
Our audience here, Komal, is very, very confident. I think 43% of people right now are saying very confident. I will just repeat the question once again. The question says, how confident are your teachers in teaching spoken English? Very confident, somewhat confident, not confident, or it depends on the teacher. This poll has the highest participation until now. Let's make it 100%. We have around 70% people who have participated. We will end the poll in around 10 seconds, requesting each one of you to please participate and select the response. Okay, I'll just end the poll.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so 44% people say that they are very, very confident. 31% are saying it depends on the teacher, and around 23% are saying they are somewhat confident.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing. It's really good to see that teacher confidence is not a lot of a big issue where support is needed, but it's important to help maintain that confidence, support the teachers, help in ensuring that they are able to manage the classroom participation, they are able to manage talk time with the students, and there's a lot of modeling which is done in the classrooms because teacher confidence reflects in students' confidence. And we all know, right? Like if we look back to our own journey of being students, we remember the teachers who were most invested, who were kind, and also created a safe classroom environment where we were able to express our thoughts. So teacher confidence is very important to help build English skills in students. Now let's look at the last strategy. This talks about creating a school-wide English environment. Now, how can we do that? So, when we think about English improvement, we often think in terms of periods. But language does not grow in periods, it grows in environments. So, if English lives only for 40 minutes a day, fluency will always be limited, no matter how good the teacher or textbook is. Language development is like physical fitness. One workout a day helps, but movement across the day changes the body. So instruction teaches about language. Exposure allows students to live in that language. So the research has shown that ex, the classroom experience is just not enough. The frequency matters more than intensity. So small repeated exposure across the day builds familiarity, reduces fear, and normalizes English. So this is especially important in contexts where students do not hear English at home. So the responsibility with the school increases even further. So what does a school-wide English environment looks like? So this does not mean forcing English everywhere or punishing students when they are using their home language. It means identifying natural movements across the school day where English can gently enter. So examples, morning assemblies, daily instructions, transitions, displays, announcements, even hearing the same sentence daily builds confidence over time. So I'm sure all of us would be having morning assemblies, right? So some segment of it could be in English, not long speeches, but short English segments. Some daily instructions where everybody is saying simple, repeated phrases using consistently over a period of time. Next, I think is very important, helping build emotional safety. So for many students, English is not difficult. It is emotionally risky because this is a language that they don't think in. They feel very worried about making mistakes, being laughed at, or sounding wrong. So when English appears everywhere in low stakes ways, it becomes familiar rather than threatening. So a school-wide environment tells students that English belongs here and you belong in English. Last, I think, is also that it's okay if students make mistakes. Give them the space to, make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and not having any fear or punishment or consequence or resentment if they are not talking in correct accents or if they are not very fluent. So all of this holds students back in speaking in English if there is if there is a lot of um, punishment or you have to talk in English, that kind of a rule. So the goal is not replacement of the mother tongue, the goal is addition. So strategic use of the home language can actually support faster learning in English. So what are the leadership levers that we can use? So this strategy succeeds or fails based on leadership. Teacher takes cues from what leaders model, notice, and reward. So if a leader acknowledges effort, encourages consistency, and normalizes imperfect English, teachers feel safe to do the same. So this is less about monitoring and more about culture building in the school. Now let's quickly reflect on how immersive our current environments are. Garima, if I can request you to launch poll 5.
Yeah.
Sorry, poll 4, right?
Yes.
Sorry, poll 4.
Okay. So,
So
yeah, please, Komal.
outside the English period, how often do students hear English in school? Frequently, occasionally, rarely, or almost never? Think about your school and respond to this question.
Hey, around 60% people have already participated. I'll just repeat the question once again. The question says, outside the English period, how often do students hear English in school? One option says frequently, in assemblies, conversations, and in activities. The next option says occasionally. The next one says rarely. And the last option is almost never. Most of our audience is choosing option one, Komal, which says frequently. We'll wait for 5, 10 more seconds and we'll then end the poll. Requesting everyone to please participate and share your responses. Okay, so the results are that 73% people believe in the first option. So they are saying that they hear English frequently in assemblies, conversations, and activities. Last one is like only 1% people say almost never. Most of our audience believes in the first option.
Great. Thank you so much. So, when English becomes part of the air students breathe in school, confidence grows quietly and very powerfully. So thank you for sharing and continue this practice in your schools. Before we move to action steps and a plan of what school leaders can do in 90 days, I just want to share that I want to share that with everyone that the strategies are not opinion based. So they are drawn from decades of global research in literacy, second language acquisition, and teacher effectiveness. So across studies, the same pattern repeats that language is learned by use, early foundations matter the most, grammar works best when it is taught in context, teacher confidence predicts students' confidence, and exposure accelerates learning. Most importantly, these ideas have been adapted for Indian school realities and they have not been imported blindly. Moving ahead, what can school leaders do in 90 days? So let's look at it. It takes time, right? Like 90 days is a good enough period that these strategies, when implemented consistently, will bear results. So, what are some non negotiables that we need to look at? Garima, the next slide, please. First ensure that daily planned student talk in every English class. Students do get an opportunity to share and express, not just a few students, all students. Second, protect foundation time in early grades. If you have an opportunity to strengthen the pre-primary and primary grades in your schools, do that. Invest in phonics and vocabulary building in early grades. Those are complete non-negotiables, and the results will show later. So protect the foundation time in early grades. Third, support teachers with practice, not pressure. So ensuring that there's a lot of teacher support focused on classroom practice. There are workshops, there are demos, modeling. In whatever way you can support the teacher, please do that based on where the support is needed. Next slide, please, Garima. And what are some things that we need to deprioritize? We should not focus a lot on excessive grammar worksheets. Yes, grammar is important, but just doing a lot of drills and worksheet after worksheet is not going to really, help improve English in students. Not focus a lot on accent correction and pronunciation. We all have our own distinct accents based on where we come from, even in India, right? Like we'll have a certain different accent if someone is coming from the south versus the north, and it's okay as long as we can understand each other. Accent is not a big priority. And over testing written answers. Especially in English, I think focusing a lot on skill or comprehension versus getting them to write a lot of mugged up answers or rote learned answers, or getting them to write big, big reference to context answers, which we used to have in our time. So, not focusing on over testing some of these written answers. So, confidence first, accuracy then follows. So no excess grammar worksheets, accent correction and over testing written answers, and prioritizing daily planned student talk, protecting the foundational years in early grades, and supporting teacher with practice and not pressure. Lastly, let's look at the poll 5. I would directly get into the poll 5 before we talk ahead.
Just launching the poll. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what would you most like to improve in the next academic year? Spoken fluency, reading levels, writing quality, teacher capability, or parent confidence in English outcomes? There is no right or wrong answer. Just choose what is the priority for the next academic year for you as an educator or school leader.
This is the last poll of this webinar, so I'm requesting each one of you to please participate and share your responses. I will repeat the question once again. The question is, what would you most like to improve in the next academic year? Is it spoken fluency or reading levels, or is it writing quality, teacher capability, or parent confidence in English outcomes? Please share your responses. Okay, I think we have around 70% people who have participated. I'll end the poll and share the results. So 65% of our audience believes in spoken fluency. This is what they would like to improve in the next academic year. Then we have 11% for parent confidence, 7% for teacher capability, 11% again for reading levels, and around 6% for writing quality.
Great. Thank you so much for your responses. It's heartening to see that spoken fluency is what you guys would be looking at for the next academic year. So, English success is not about harder work, it is about smarter design. Schools don't need more content, they need clearer priorities. So, when leadership prioritizes shift, classrooms follow. And let's just quickly look at the key learnings from this webinar so far. Language is learned by use, not rules first. So, oral language and meaning come before grammar. Early foundations matter most. Phonics and vocabulary in grades 1 to 3 prevent long term fluency gaps. Grammar works best in context. So, when isolated grammar drills do not transfer well to speaking or writing, it needs to be taught in a contextual manner. Next slide, please, Karima. Teacher confidence predicts students' confidence. So, coaching and modeling outperform one off workshops, and exposure beyond the English period accelerates learning. So, more meaningful touch points leads to faster language acquisition. So, we've already completed poll 5.
Yeah, I think if if you all have questions, please put up the questions in the Q&A window. Let me just check if we have any questions there, Komal. Give me a second.
Sure.
Just, so Saida Lavi ma'am is saying, under the non-negotiables, please explain the second point, protected foundation in early grades. Shall I open that slide, Komal?
Sure.
Yep.
So basically, we focused on building foundation skills in early grades, in pre-primary and primary. What does that mean? Having phonics and vocabulary instruction in the early grades. This would ensure that students get to reading faster. Phonics is a systematic way in which a reading is built in students, through which they learn how to decode words and letter sounds. So ensuring that that system of phonics and vocabulary, whole words, sight words, is there in the early grades would help in building the foundation for reading. So that is what the second priority talks about, ensuring that those foundation skills are part of the early grade and primary years curriculum. Does that help?
I think it definitely helps, Komal. I have another question from
Yeah.
Chanchala Kumari, who is asking, how can these strategies be integrated into a regular syllabus without increasing the academic load on students?
Sure. So ensuring that whenever certain questions come or there is some discussion, each and every student is participating in that discussion through think, pair, share, or ensuring that all of these can be just done within the timetable or the actual period. Building certain design structures, such as think, pair, share is one routine, right? Where there's a question which is posted to the students. They think about it, they take a minute to think about the question, then they pair with their partners and share the responses to the question. And then each of them like share the response of their partner in their own words. So the sharing part can be from a few students, but the speaking part, where they are pairing up and talking to each other, can be done across the whole class. So if we do this for all subjects, right, not just English, this routine of think, pair, share will ensure that students are able to then share in a very safe manner with their partner. That is one such routine. Another is that in while you are teaching any subject, whether it's English or any topic, ensuring that students get time to, think about some questions that you ask, and then you're able to express it in their simple words. Even if they use broken English, use it along with their mother tongue, that space needs to be created where students are able to express themselves. Ensuring that the whole culture around the school is about, using English, having displays, having classroom routines around it, having in during the assembly, during transitions. So all of this will, help improve the English speaking abilities of the students, as well as with the teachers. It's okay if they make mistakes, but I think that space needs to be created as a culture where it is okay to make mistakes, but it is not okay not to try. So ensuring that that compliance is there.
Thank you so much, Komal, for answering that. I hope, Chanchala ma'am, that answers your question. We have another question from Ravisa ma'am. They're asking how to deal with a child who doesn't speak at all. Um,
So a child who doesn't speak is not usually incapable. They are protecting themselves. So silence is often a sign of fear, low confidence, past correction, or feeling unsafe. So ensuring that that is fixed first, to try to understand where that feeling is coming from. So forcing the child to speak or calling them out on insisting on answers or trying to correct them publicly would not work. So start with low risk participation, just listening to them first, even if it's in their mother tongue. Uh, Non-verbal responses, if they are nodding, if they are pointing, if they are choosing, then slowly building in choral responses where everybody is saying something and they are also participating, then pair talk, and slowly whole whole class speaking. So it has to be scaffolded. It needs to start with very low stakes, and then whole class speaking, because public speaking also will not come immediately. So speaking should be the last step, not the first one. And many children who are silent don't speak because they don't know how to start. So when dedicated speaking time is given in the classroom, it needs to also have a scaffold with something like sentence starters. I think this is, I like, repeated phrases, predictable questions with predictable answers. So when language is predictable, the fear reduces. So this is how we can, help students slowly and steadily start talking more and more in English. So the same questions, same responses, same structure, sentence starters, repetition, hearing and rehearsing the same structure many times, speech often emerges naturally. And for pre-primary and very lower grade kids, a lot of nursery rhymes, a lot of simple English songs, a lot of repetitive songs, all of that also naturally builds English speaking ability. And very important to praise attempts and efforts rather than correctness. So thank you for trying. I like how you shared. That was really brave of you. So confidence grows when effort is noticed and appreciated. Lastly, also pairing the children correctly. So when there is a lot of peer support, then naturally students open up. So pair the child with another one who is a calm, supportive peer rather than a dominating one. Children speak to their peers first before talking to their teachers. So ensuring that the peers are involved. And when it also, I think if the child remains completely silent across languages, across contexts, and through a lot of months, I think then some further support would need to be looked at. But in most cases, once there is safety and structure, then speech slowly begins. So even in children, many of them develop speech late and many of them talk late. So speech therapists also recommend to fix these things first before diagnosing if something else is wrong. I hope this
Thank you.
helps.
Thank you, Komal. I think this will definitely help our audience. We have one more question, which says how to deal when most teachers speak in local language, thinking that students can't understand English.
Teacher support, ensuring that teachers are not penalized. Um, Also, they can use a mix of both English and local language, but it's important that teacher, right, as we said, right, like teacher confidence mirrors students' confidence. So trying to understand, what support the teacher needs and helping her to, whatever her like resistance is to overcome that and explain it in English using some local language. I think, as teachers, we just think that students don't understand and we give up and we go back to our comfort. I want to finish the syllabus, so let me just speak in the local language. But we need to persist. We need to ensure that we are talking in English, explaining in English, uh, and trusting that, our verbal expressions, the way we are reading aloud, something the students will assimilate. Uh, Not focusing too much on over explanation and ensuring and believing that, if we use English along with some local language, the students will understand.
Uh, Thank you, Komal. We have another question which says, how can these classroom strategies be adapted for mixed ability learners without slowing down overall language progress?
That's a great question. Uh, so how can we adapt these strategies for mixed ability learners? I think one is to use it to our advantage, pairing up students who have a lower ability with somebody who has a higher ability so that they can help the one who has lower ability. Second, assigning, I think here some differentiation skills are needed that if we can put if we know students, if we have identified who are low ability, medium ability, and high ability, and can frame questions differently for each of the groups. So some differentiation skills are needed over here. Sentence starters to help support the lower ability students, open-ended prompts which stretch the answers or explanation for stronger learners, and pair and group work which allows cross peer interaction, and move from whole class, pair, and individual. So mixed ability classrooms fail when we jump straight to whole class answers. So we need to ensure that there is some scaffold over here, that we have some whole class interaction, then there is some pair work, and then there is individual work. So in the individual work, then students who are really high ability get to, showcase their brilliance. But with the pair work, the ones who have low or medium ability are also able to participate. So this needs to be really thought through, and the teacher would really need to understand her classroom really well to be able to design for that specific class in terms of what questions to plan, which students to pair together, and what kind of questions to ask each group. For example, an open-ended question for higher ability student and a more structured question for lower or medium ability student. And changing pairs, grouping them by task. So yeah, so all of these things would have to be planned for each of the lessons.
Thank you, Komal. I think we'll take a couple of more questions. We
Sure.
are short on time. One more question. It says, what are the ways in which we can make use of both English and the mother tongue language in a lesson at the same time?
Okay. Yeah, as I said, while explaining, ensuring that some key words are used in mother tongue and English is used along with it. That's one. Sorry. Next is ensuring that uh, the classroom culture ensures that, English is given the priority it deserves, but students are also open to using mother tongue in some of the things where they are more open to using. And I think in an assembly also ensuring that certain segment can be around mother tongue and there are certain segments which are compulsorily English. Um, and in teaching as well, I think in the English period, we can use some where, some explanation is needed, but I think English during the English period should be mandated so that, during that time, students are at least talking and learning to speak in English. Um, yeah, these are the few I can think about right now.
Okay, I think we'll take one last question. Um, this question says how to deal with the situation where students have where students don't have the atmosphere at home and parents don't speak in English, how to deal with that?
Yeah, that's why it becomes even more critical to ensure that there is a lot of English usage within the school, which is planned during assemblies, transitions, during all the periods in the classroom, giving them some assignment where they themselves are sitting and practicing English, either that is talking to a peer or by themselves, reading in English, ensuring that if they have access to listening to some English program or listening to something at home, uh, that is one of the things where they can maximize the exposure they can get in English. So in school, definitely through all the ways and mediums it is possible, and at home through some home practice, through some regularly listening to some things, and also ensuring that teachers also ensure that English is spoken to at within pairs and during specific periods and during specific times in the day. Consistent practice over a period of time and consistently listening to repetitive songs really helps build English language skills.
Thank you, Komal. One last question, not a question, it is kind of a statement. I would just like to mention it here. And Miss Alka is stating that NEP allows use of local language. So English should come as another mode of language to converse rather than as a compulsion. What do you say on that? What would you suggest?
I think,
If you want, I can repeat the statement again. It
yeah,
says
sure.
NEP allows use of local language. So English should come as another mode of language rather than another mode of language to converse rather than as a compulsion.
So, firstly, I would like to say that this is not a choice between English or mother tongue, and as rightly said by ma'am as well, strong schools should use both strategically. The home language supports thinking and understanding, and English supports expression and communication. So, yes, mother tongue can and should be used for understanding, but English should be used for expression so that students are living in a global world, the opportunities are global, that they are able to then express and communicate in English and live in a society which is using English more and more. So it's not a choice. If the school culture can be made in such a way that both are used strategically, where the home language supports thinking and understanding, and English supports expression and communication, I think with these two distinct goals in mind, the classroom instruction can be planned. And this is something which we all do sometimes, right? Like we think in our mother tongue, the thoughts that come to us is so for me, a lot of the times I think in Hindi, but if I have to, I do express my thoughts in English. So that ability to be able to switch from thinking to expression, I think that is where English would need to be built.
Wonderfully explained, Komal. Thank you so much. I think we are done with the slides.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Komal, for taking out time and doing this webinar with us. It was a wonderful learning opportunity for all of us. Thank you. And I will take a few minutes to introduce Lead Group to the audience. Lead Group is India's #1 school edtech company. We offer learning systems to schools. A learning system is an integration of curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. Our motto is to make excellent education accessible to each and every child of the country. To give you a sense of our presence, there are some numbers on the screen. We have partnered with more than 8,500 schools across 400 cities. We engage with 3.8 million students and work with more than 60,000 plus teachers. What you get when you opt for a learning system, you get world-class books, you get audiovisual learning aid, you get school activity kits, student activity kits. We offer three kinds of learning systems to schools: the Pinnacle Plus learning system, the Propel learning system, and the Lead learning system. These are all customizable solutions for your school. And as this was an English session, I would like to introduce our flagship program, ELGA, to the audience. ELGA stands for English Language and General Awareness. It is India's only level-based English skill curriculum. It is designed to help students become confident speakers, readers, writers, and listeners of English. It integrates language learning with general awareness, values, and real world content. The focus is on learning English through application and not through rote memorization, so that students, when they get out, if they inside and outside the classroom, they learn it meaningfully and speak meaningfully. The five core components of ELGA are reading and listening comprehension, grammar, writing and speaking expression, phonics, and whole words. Once a student starts learning with ELGA, the student becomes confident communicator in English. I would also like to discuss about ERA, which is the AI-powered English Learning Assistant for students. ERA stands for Independent Reading Assistant. As the name suggests, it is like a personal tutor for students, which again helps students build fluency and pronunciation. It is an integrated it is integrated into the Leeds textbook. It can read aloud, it can read books aloud, it can listen to students when they are reading, and it can give real-time feedback so that students uh, can improve their English learning skills. And yeah, so I think there was a poll where Komal asked that what the school leaders would love to do in the next academic year, and that was spoken fluency. So these products definitely will help you achieve your goals. If you want to transform your school, please reach out to us on the given number on the screen, 86828 You can take a screenshot of the screen. You can also mail us at partner@leadschool.in or visit our website, www.leadgroup.com, .co.in, sorry. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking out time. Thank you, Komal. Thank you, Shalini, for being here. And again, you will all get your participation certificates, the recording of the webinar, and a free ebook via email. We will also share a feedback form with you. The questions which were not answered, you can put up those questions in the feedback form, and I will share those questions with Komal, and we would be happy to answer those. Thank you, everyone. Take
Thank
care.
you so much. Thank you so much, Garima. Thank you, Shalini, for having me here. And thank you so much for all the participants for your listening and for participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.